Morning, everybody. Hope you've all had a good start to your weekend. This is Jen, just coming at you Monday morning. And I just kind of went for a little bit of a walk and, starting to feel the crispness and the change in seasons and leaning into all the change that's happening. And it gave me some time, some perspective on what I felt like sharing this morning. So what we're going to be working and playing with and absorbing into our cellular structure is acceptance. Acceptance comes in many forms, and I truly believe that the ability to accept something in our lives, in ourselves, in others, and it comes forward in stages. And the more we can kind of tune into and allow ourselves to lean into those stages and love every aspect of feeling feeling like you don't have control. And there's certain things in our lives that, yes, we have choices. Yes, we have the ability to go left or right or backwards or forwards. However, acceptance of what is can be a very beautiful, very powerful tool to utilize in one's life, in one's daily routine, even. So acceptance of what is going to be kind of our discussion this morning, and we're going to do a very gentle, very intuitive practice with that. I really wanted to go down the intuitive route this morning. There's in my teachings, there's so many different things that I've kind of come forward with and downloaded within my breath work is powerful, but my meditations, this one came up specifically for me this morning, where acceptance can be so simple, so subtle, and yet done with so much internal integrity that it actually can really empower a person. So see if that works for you and see how this feels. So to begin with, maybe rubbing our hands together. So just doing a little bit of a rub. I have my phone on me today, so I'm not just gonna actually begin to rub my leg and get some heat going there. And at the same time, kind of just tuning into what is in my world. So at the moment, I've been, as we all do, I've been going through something that that kind of felt like it was going to throw me off course, throw me in a direction that I didn't want to go, and I didn't like that feeling or that sensation, and I chose to do different than even what my patterns are. So to start with that heat that we create, that activation in our hands, I'm just going to simply, and again, do what feels right for you. Bring that heat, bring that hand to my heart, and bring the other hand to my abdomen or to my gut. So I'm going to bring that other hand, I'm going to hold it, and I'm just going to notice how those two parts of my body are doing at this stage. So how is my heart doing, or my heart space? And how is my gut? How is my tummy activating itself, or is it nice and feeling very calm and gentle? So far, this is still early for me, so I haven't eaten anything, and just noticing how it feels to be and to allow one's digestive system to be just completely empty, which is actually a very beautiful time. Our body is not putting a lot of energy into digesting and bringing food through our digestive system. So the morning can be a really amazing time to ask questions and to tune into your literal gut reaction to what's happening in your life. So as you kind of notice those two areas, one more time, rubbing those hands together, asking yourself any question, any areas that are feeling like you just don't have the answer to them, or feeling like you need some clarity, placing them on your heart, placing those hands on your abdomen. And then just bringing yourself into the here, into the now. First place I'm going to lead us this morning is into a little bit of a visualization. So allow yourself to lay down on your back. Allow yourself to find a comfortable position wherever you happen to be in this moment while you're watching this video. Get some pillows under the knees, pillows under the head if that feels like that's going to bring you into a really supported and very gentle position, or very relaxed shape in your body. As you get into that shape, I encourage you to kind of wiggle your toes, wiggle your tailbone, your sit bones, your glutes, your hips, and then kind of move up your spine. Begin to kind of just create some movement in the lower back, the abdomen, to the ribs, into the middle back, the rib cage, into the shoulder blades, the chest. And again, as you do these simple movements, working all the way up, rotating and moving the neck and the head. And the entire time you're doing this, I'm just encouraging you to, again, a huge part of what I lean into is the sensations that can come up. There can be such, at times, powerful aha moments that occur as soon as we begin to dive in deep into our being, and the ability for us to allow our minds to take a back seat so that our intuition can come to the surface with an open heart and an openness, really. I think one of the most beautiful things that I've been teaching, and I have learned to integrate into pretty much everything that I do within my daily interactions with people, within my communication, my conversations, within my teachings, doing body work with beautiful clients, and everything else. I've definitely been cultivating this space of tapping into your inner knowing, tapping into your space in your physical body, yes. However, also really tapping into, without always using words, tapping into our emotional body and our mental body in such a way that allows these beautiful aspects of who we are, but these beautiful intuitive guides that we have at our disposal at all times, just tapping into all of them and really beginning to feel, it's almost like this shimmer that occurs within all of these bodies, and the body that we can see with our eyes, the body that we can I guess in a way tune into the easiest, but yet sometimes the physical body that a lot of us can sometimes almost segregate because it's in pain or because it's feeling so much. That feeling of overwhelm can be so much that, and this is okay, but it's to disconnect from any of those bodies. So our physical body, we can touch, we can see, it's one that quickly can be analyzed by the mind. Our mental body has a wonderful way of kind of, when our mental actual body, which is a part of us, it's kind of surrounding this physical body, not necessarily able to see, but we can kind of visualize. It's very much overcovered or covered over with our ego, and our ego and our mental body have this kind of almost tug of war that can occur And our ego brain a lot of the time has a lot of stories. Usually those stories are geared towards and focused on the story highlights in our lives that have caused us pain or suffering, or that have caused any kind of emotion that has brought us into a state of lower vibration. And the ego mind holds on to those for a reason. That ego part of us, or I'm going to even change the statement around that, because ego has such a bad rep to it at times, in my personal opinion. What I've seen so many people try to get rid of or try to disassociate with has such interesting outcomes. That our ego is just a part of us that is holding on to these things because it believes at its truest core level that in order to let these things go, we will not survive, we will not thrive, we will not be able to protect ourselves from it happening again. And that's okay. That's okay for it to be there, and for that part of us that is within every human experience. It's there for a reason, and to be able to have acceptance that it has a reason is a very powerful, for me anyway, aha moment to really have learned to love that ego part of my it's a gift of my physical or my human form, let's say. However, it is not our mental body. Our mental body is the beautiful component just beyond our physical that allows us to take in our environment and truly accept what is. It doesn't have a story. And when it's speaking to us, that physical voice is our voice. However, it's our voice with compassion and so much, filled with so much self-love. It truly just wants us to be thriving in this world. And it really does have an aspect of our highest good. And that is a powerful shift. It's a powerful perspective shift, really, when you can allow that ego part of us to be, again, I'm going to change that statement. So when you can allow that inner mind, that mind within, to take a little bit of a back seat and just give it something to focus on. Breathing can be a beautiful thing. Counting can be another beautiful thing. Being able to use the visual, so our eyes themselves, to focus on something and just allow that part of our inner brain to play with something else, while our mental body gets a chance to kind of merge itself into our physical and tune itself into our physical, which is a lot of what happens when we're doing that rubbing first thing. So that mental body comes in, and we truly begin to grasp the concept that we don't need to control everything. We don't need, even though there's a part of us, especially when we're out of control, there's this aspect of either hiding or deflecting or going into anger, and that really doesn't serve ourselves, and it doesn't serve the beautiful people that we encounter within our days. So if you can utilize that voice within you, that is not that, it's a little voice, but it can be very strong, not allow just that voice, but allow it to go in the back, and instead have this very, and again, it's a subtle difference, but it's a compassionate tone, and it doesn't have stories with it. What it's telling you, what it's guiding you to do is just do what is. It's usually an action step. So if that mental body is explaining or trying to just give you personal feedback for what is, it'll be something like drink water. Your body needs this. Do that. And it'll be said in such a very beautiful way that you can almost miss it. You know, that inner, and again, I'm going to say that inner kind of ego brain is very dominant in how aggressive it can be with its stories. Listen to me. This is what happened last time. Don't do that because you know that last time so-and-so did this to you. Or it'll just have so many options for it to play with. So you just say, thank you. I appreciate you protecting me. I'm going to choose to listen to this other voice at this time. I will happily give you some opportunity to have your input at another time. You know, these are some of my inner dialogues that I have with myself. And that's just one component. That's one extra level of who our intuitive, that's a part of our intuitive, that then when it links in with our physical form, we can really tune into our body into a whole new way. We can feel the aches or pains, we can feel the physical, and it doesn't have any judgment around it. It has just 100% acceptance. So just leaning into that, if any of that landed for you, just take a moment here and see and feel and play, because this is truly an intuitive exercise where, okay, you know, some of this is landing, and how would I be able to communicate to that beautiful, you know, just going to share my own creative process, but I literally visualize that little ego mind of mine that is, you know, it's a little bit misshapen. It has this kind of like little bit of a hunch on the one side, and it's kind of almost gnarled on the one side, and yet it transforms into this beautiful shell that it tends to put on itself, that you know, it has this beauty to it and this strength, even though it's kind of always gnawing at me, like, pay attention, I have more information to give you. So that's kind of like my ego little brain, my own personal persona. And and it's a hymn for me. It's a hymn. I've created such a beautiful relationship with him, to allow him that he has a voice, that he has a place, and he is powerful, and I represent and I respect that power that he has. However, I've also learned in my teachings and even in my interactions, I began to just communicate with everybody, I think, in a very subtle way, that we don't need to let that control us, and that's not the part of us that has our inner knowing, or not necessarily the part that has our best interests at heart. So tapping into my mental body, my physical body now absorbs it, and I feel my physical body. That's when I know that my mental body has kind of infused itself, and here it is. It's talking to me. I can feel the love and the appreciation, and I can also feel all the hard stuff that is coming, but it just is. I don't have to control it. I don't have to diminish my feelings, whatever that is coming to the surface. And a lot of the time when that mental body kind of infuses itself, it'll very quickly bring in my emotional body. And my emotional body is right there on the surface with my mental body. It's almost, I again, this is something for you just to play with and co-create within yourself. But that emotional body is another layer beyond that, is always around me. It's always there. And that emotional body, when it's infused with that mental body, and then it's infused once more into my physical body, and I'm bringing it, and I'm noticing myself going deeper and deeper into inner reflection, into my meditation, that emotional body, for myself, it is truly my powerhouse. That's where my healing comes in. That's where my ability to tune into other people's bodies. And when I do my physical healing for others, when I do my physical, emotional, and mental healing for myself, it's, for me, my emotional body, when it's infused into the rest of me, that's my powerhouse. As soon as I bring that in, I bring all of it in, and my connection piece is truly right at my heart space. And it's in my heart space in my front, it's in my heart space in my back. And all of a sudden, I am really grounded. I can feel my feet create these roots. I can feel my hands and the vibration that comes out of them. I can feel every aspect of my cellular structure. So again, I'm just describing what my experience is, kind of giving you something to play with, something to be able to tune into your own intuitive collection of these beautiful bodies that are around us at all times, to really notice, what is it like A lot of the time our, our physical body and then our mental and our emotional have this kind of wave, and they can be quite far away from us at times. And when we bring them in and when we connect to them at our heart source, or for some people, I've noticed instead of the heart source, their powerhouse is their kind of their upper chakra area, or their brain source. So they literally infuse it and it kind of brings itself in. Either way, when we are bringing that in, my personal feeling around it is that I am now in the zone, or I'm now so deep within my inner knowing. My intuitive is right there for me to ask the questions I need to be asking. I get a direct response that is filled with compassion or kindness, and it's usually a fairly simple response. So this is just, and we're gonna just take a few minutes to see where these words may have landed for you. And even as I'm talking, I'm going through this process that I do with myself on a regular basis. When I'm going into meditation, when I'm about to work on another beautiful person's energetic levels, I do this, to be honest, actually quite often throughout my day. And it really helps me to lean into acceptance and to lean into what is, not what I maybe want it to be, or how a part of myself needs it to be or feels it needs to be. It's more just, okay, this is, start where you are. Don't try to change anything, because nothing needs to be changed. This really, truly, and I can feel a little bit of the emotional, as I bring that in, that emotional side comes to the surface, because I know where I am, and I know who I am, and I know I've got this, whatever it is that I'm about to embark on. And that inner knowing, connecting to that, has such a beautiful sensation that takes over, but it's also this grace that I can just allow, and I don't need to control. And how beautiful to take that burden off of myself. I'm speaking to my experience. So taking the next 3 to 5 minutes, again, it's something, these little morning connection tune-ins are meant to just be a little glimpse. I create the words, I create the teachings that hopefully something lands for each person that listens, or each person that feels compelled to want to listen. And then they shape it, they bring the words, they bring the insight, and they make it their own. They play with it further beyond this video, further beyond their day. And maybe this lands in just such a way that really connects someone to a problem that they've been struggling with, or possibly even a really, our problems can feel really huge. And sometimes they truly are. They can be those life-changing decisions that we need to make that can feel very heavy on us. Imagine bringing our physical, mental, emotional, and we didn't talk on spiritual self, but really that is always there. And that spiritual self can be whatever you need it to be. There is no definition that I need to put on that. Because it just is a part of who we are. It is a part of our human experience in this truly incredible 3D world that we get to be a part of. So as we bring these in, as we feel ourselves, as we notice what's coming to the surface, we ask in a kind dialect, what do I need? Who am I in this moment? What do I need to do moving forward? Right here, not in the future, not in the past, but right here. And we breathe into it. And that breath, that incredible, magical, beautiful breath that we have, is that lock and key. It's that opening to inviting all of these intuitive powers that we have, inviting them into our, again, where do you invite it to? Your heart space, your mind space. Any part of your physical body will open up and just invite this feeling in of calm, solidity, acceptance, and this genuine, true love without expectations. And just sit with that. Notice. So it's interesting. As I notice, as I tune in, as I feel those bodies connecting to my source energy, is how I coined the phrase. That source energy just gives me the ability to tune into a different, I'm going to change that. So it gives me the tools to shift my perspective. So how I am feeling my senses, my feeling body, my eyes, even the way I smell, or if I was to taste something, even just moving, my taste buds around in my mouth, everything is shifted. It's ever so slightly different, elevated even. And these words really connect to the experiences that I have experienced in my form within and throughout my life. So when I feel these merging of these bodies and I tune into what is, I tune into that genuine and wholehearted acceptance. The situations, it's not that they go away. It's not a magic cure-all. However, I can see the situations within my life that can feel so big. They can feel so overwhelming, that when I start to tune into this aspect, this merging, it doesn't feel so overwhelming. And that's enough sometimes. That's all I need to know, almost know or get the sensation. I'm like, okay, I get that it's big. And I'll just give my own example, something right now that I'm going through, and what compelled me to kind of go into this teaching this morning is I'm working with a spiritual teacher of mine that has decided to define me in such a way that really doesn't resonate or link up to what is true for me. And whether you have come in contact with that in a boss or someone that you respect and that you love on such a deep level. Again, this is a spiritual teacher of mine that I have such deep, incredible, heartfelt respect for her. And it's a recent story that we have shared that I felt that she has kind of put on me this is who you are. This is who I see you as. and everything that she is, again, someone that especially is kind of in a role that you are learning from them, and that you are taking their teachings, and that, you know, I have had so many beautiful, incredible spiritual teachers, and so is she. At this present stage, I feel attacked, and I feel like who I am is not being represented in an authentic way through her stories. And there is a part of my humanness that really wants to change her thought process, that wants to prove to her or show her, or, if for lack of a better word, force her to see who I am. Like, hey, no, that's not me. Please don't be saying that, or please don't be thinking that. And what's so fascinating and interesting about when we try to control, again, I can almost feel those pieces. I can feel my ego mind coming back in and infiltrating itself. Oh, remember this story. Oh, remember how this felt. Yes, thank you. It does hurt. My heart does hurt, and that's okay. When someone maybe doesn't fully see us for who we are, we can embrace that. We can learn from it. And then at the fundamental root of what is, we can also see that that's not for us to control. That's not our stuff. That's not the truth. And it is enough to just know that. It is enough to know our truth. It is enough to tune into who we are. And I can send so much love and gratitude for the gifts, and even for what is happening between us, a disagreement, a construct within this 3D world, that for whatever reason she has felt the need to bring up her own stories and to choose to go on that path. I don't need to join her on that path. So I think that's I think the biggest thing, of just allowance, of just acceptance for what is. And even sitting here this morning, you know, it's been rattling. This is something that occurred last week, and it's been going over and over in my mind, like, how do I deal with this situation? I want to try to find a space in my heart where I can go into this situation with a true heart opening response to how she has responded, or how she has emailed, pretty much in an email format, which, again, as all of us can probably attest to, emails can come forward in such a way that can feel very, very attack-like. So I'm resonating, and I will be replying in a way that comes from a space where I'm in total acceptance. I don't need to change her constructs or her opinions or her thoughts. All I need to do is simply accept, and an email of acceptance. There is no fighting. There is no need to control the outcome. It's just, thank you. It's a true, genuine thank you. Thank you for sharing your opinions. And not done in a malicious way. I think sometimes in our society, especially as of late, we can all take on an attack form, even within those beautiful words of thank you. So see how that sits, that little story. It's a personal story, but it's also, I think, a story that all of us can resonate with. When someone that we truly respect and we are learning from, whether that be our spouse, our family members, whether that be, you know, a teacher of any kind, a boss, when they come at us in a very heightened state of emotion and attack, how do we respond? That response is truly our powerhouse. That is truly a gift that each of us have. And if you play with this practice, if you play with this visualization of tuning into your physical and slowly beginning to merge that mental, while allowing the ego side to just take a little bit of a back seat for just a moment, and then allow that emotional, and again, quickly followed by that emotional, and so intertwined is that spiritual aspect, that spiritual body. Those all come into, oh, my voice, sharing. It all comes into who we are. And it comes into the I am, which we again practiced and played with last week. So that ability to just feel and know, and then move forward with an action plan that comes from that heart space. It's just a whole new world. It's a whole new perspective. And it can really change. I know that it can really change how we move into our life and how we move throughout our life. So thank you for sharing this with me. And thank you to myself for sharing this with you. I truly do believe it has some beautiful elements to it. Please let me know, a couple of little pieces here. Please let me know if this, even without, you don't need to message, but even just sending, I can feel it, just saying thank you, or like that worked for me, or you know, I'm going to work with this throughout the week. Just send that, and on an energetic or in a message or anything like that, because I'm tuning into this acceptance piece within this particular story in my present life, and I think it has a lot of merit right now within the world that we live in. This acceptance, not having to change or create something within everybody's life around us, because or not impossible, but how heavy that would be for us to take such a burden on of others. We have ourselves and we have our emotions, and we can teach just truly just by being who we are and knowing that. We don't need to prove that. Just knowing, our knowingness has a lot of power to it. Be who you are and accept exactly the situation that you're in. It's there to aid you in your highest good, even if it feels like it's a struggle at this present moment. Feel that. That's okay. The struggle is real. The beauty is real though too. With struggle comes growth, comes the root structure. It's all the stuff that is needed for us to level up in our life. So thank you. Have a wonderful day. And I truly just hope that at one point, whether it be right now or at another point in your day today, you're able to just look and smell and taste and feel with an ever so slightly, I'm going to call it modified perspective, infusing those bodies into you, and just notice what happens, what occurs for you. Look forward to meeting with you guys tomorrow. Bye.